Dude, come on. This show's getting boring. Let's change it to something else. Okay.
The Science Show! What idea was this?
Oh, hello. My name's Jack Nye, and today I'll be talking to you about how safe it really is to use nuclear power. Before we start, I'll give you a brief explanation on how nuclear power works. Now, with most energy sources, energy is created when heated water creates steam that will spin a turbine. This is the same with nuclear energy, except the difference is how the water is heated. Nuclear power plants use uranium to heat the water. In our example, I'll be using this basketball as a uranium nucleus. Uranium atoms are very unstable, so unstable that pieces of the nucleus simply break off. Fuel rods are used to tightly pack the uranium atoms together, so that when pieces of the nucleus break off, those pieces will collide with other uranium atoms, causing a giant chain reaction. When the uranium atom breaks apart, mass is converted into energy, which will heat the water. Now that you know how nuclear power works, let's talk about some things that people think are dangerous about using it. One of the most well-known dangers is radiation. Now, radiation is subatomic particles traveling near or at the speed of light, which, if they get inside the human body, can cause major health problems. Now, if you're working at a nuclear power plant, that may seem like a problem, but on average, humans are hit by 15,000 particles of radiation per second, and that's 1.3 billion particles per day. Honestly, people receive 10,000 times more natural radiation than radiation from a power plant. When you get an X-ray, you receive 100 billion particles of radiation. That's about 100 times the normal daily dose. Workers at a nuclear power plant receive about 10 times the normal daily dose, which studies have shown does not cause health problems. Now, even though those numbers seem high, the chance of one particle of radiation causing cancer is 1 to 30 quintillion. Now, there have been major accidents with nuclear power, such as Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island. A nuclear power plant is set up so that if anything goes wrong, there are numerous backup systems to help contain the problem. Here's a little interview with my grandpa, Donald Schnell, where he will explain what all goes into keeping a nuclear power plant safe.
So given that, the next thing that you have to design for in a nuclear plant is to be able to isolate the radioactivity that's generated from anything outside, from people, from animals, from crops, from anything outside the plant. It's very early in nuclear power is something called defense in depth. In other words, there would be barriers, multiple barriers, to assure that no radioactivity would escape the plant and be harmful to either the people that were working at the plant or the population around the plant. The first barrier then is the fuel itself. It's ceramic. It doesn't dissolve in water. It doesn't become powdered or anything like that. So the fuel elements themselves present the first barrier. And then the second barrier is the reactor vessel. All of these fuel assemblies are put into a very large vessel. Actually, the one in our plant is some 16 feet in diameter and about 40 feet tall, and it has steel walls that are 9 to 11 inches thick. So you can imagine a vessel like that being another impregnable barrier for any radioactivity, surrounded with many feet of concrete. Concrete's a great barrier for radiation, for keeping anything. And then to finish that all off, the vessel and the concrete are inside this very huge structure called the containment building. Containment building at our Callaway plant is 130 feet in diameter, 200 feet tall, 210 feet or so tall. The walls are reinforced concrete 4 feet thick. The dome over the top of the reactor is 3 feet thick, so that any conceivable leak that would occur, that you'd have to postulate would occur, can be contained within that building. That's why it's called a containment building.
In 3 Mile Island's case, 2 of those barriers were breached, but the last 2 did not fail, and they kept most of the radiation from escaping. In Chernobyl's case, the entire safety network had been taken down, so when the accident occurred, there was nothing to stop it. Even though those were both terrible accidents, scientists have found that per nuclear power plant, there would only be 1 meltdown per every 20,000 years. Scientists have also found that there would have to be 25 nuclear meltdowns per year for nuclear power to become as dangerous as coal burning. I hope that you now see that nuclear power is a very safe, efficient, and environmentally friendly way to obtain energy. My name is Nye the Science Guy, and I'll see you next time.